Good morning everyone. Students, in the previous class we have started chapter 9 internal trade, and we have done the classification of trade, that was internal and external. And as this is a chapter of internal trade, we have discussed in detail. Internal trade has been divided in two parts, that is retailers and wholesaler, and all the aspects we have discussed over there. Today we will discuss, in fact this is the topic is classification of retail trade. I tell you students, this topic has been deleted from your syllabus, but for the sake of your knowledge, I would like to explain. I'll take 2 minutes for this. Well, classification of internal trade is done two ways, that is itinerant retailers and fixed shop retailer. Here we are talking about the retailers only, and itinerant retailers, who are these one? These are the retailers who don't have a fixed place to sit and sell out the goods. These people, they are moving from place to place in search of their customers. Okay, so we have certain examples, you can understand better. These are the peddlers, hawkers, market traders, street traders, cheap jacks and all. The vegetable vendors who comes in front of your house. Okay, so these all people, they are called itinerant retailers, who are just moving from one place to another one in search of the customers. Well, next one is your fixed shop retailers, and in this fixed shop retailers we have two kind. Fixed shop, those retailers who have a fixed shop, the first one is the small scale and another one is at the large scale. Or you can say the fixed shop retailer who are working on very like small level. Okay, small retailers. So this is also noted in your syllabus. Okay, so this itinerant retailers and fixed shop small retailers, they are not in your syllabus. And the another part of this retailer is fixed shop large retailer. So this is in our syllabus. Okay, so we will proceed with this topic. And as you can see that fixed shop large retailers, this we will be discussing in this chapter, the remaining points. And what are the contents? Departmental store is a part of this. You know, these are the retail shops. Retail, you understood its meaning, that these people, they are buying from the wholesaler and they are selling directly to the customers in small quantity. And second one is your chain stores and mail order houses, supermarket, automatic vending machine. What are these things? What are their advantages and limitation? All these things we will be discussing. Okay, so let's start with the departmental store. Well students, departmental store, what do you understand by it? Department, there is, I mean here everything is available under one roof. From pin to plane you can have these things. Okay, and the real departmental store is not available in India. You will find the real departmental stores outside of our country, US and certain other countries. Here we have the departmental store, but these are not providing each and everything, I must say. So departmental store is having small shops inside one department. Here the ownership is with one person, and different department is containing, I mean it's dealing in the different items. Okay, here the control is centralized and purchases also can be centralized, but here the sales is decentralized, means different departments are dealing in the different things. Okay, and we require, means the person sorry, who is starting this departmental store he needs huge funds. Okay, so it has a separate department for different kind of products. Departmental store is a large establishment offering a wide variety of consumer products from low price item to very expensive goods under one roof. All right, I hope it is clear what is departmental store. And in our country we have a big bazaar, and this is Spencer or Reliance Fresh stores. These are working on this pattern of the departmental store, but not the real one. Now we will talk about certain features and the point will be more clear. Features of departmental store. The first one is centrally located. Everyone wants that the departmental store, their business should be centrally located, as more and more customers can approach that. Okay, so that is one of the feature. People, they just try to establish it at the center, at the heart of the city. Next one is provision of services. Well, a modern departmental store renders number of facilities and services to their customers, like restaurant services, travel and information bureau, telephone booth, restrooms and all. We'll find in the departmental store all these kind of facilities are there. Sometimes we go for the shopping, as you know, the departmental store. All kind of things can be available under one roof. So we may get tired. We want to have lunch, or we want to have some rest. So the places are available. They provide the restaurant services also, and the restroom is also there. Next is your corporate status. So the departmental store are generally formed as a joint stock company. I've told you the reason, students. It's working, it is working on the large scale, and it needs huge funds. So it's difficult most of the time for a single person to run that. So most probably, we don't say that the single person can't do. There is no problem. The law doesn't restrict for that, but most probably the joint stock companies, they come forward to run the departmental stores, and they have a board of directors with a managing director assisted by general manager and several departmental managers. Okay. Next we have elimination of middleman. Students, here when it is working on the large scale, so we just eliminate the middleman. Middleman means wholesaler. What other retailers used to do, they were buying from the wholesaler and selling to the consumer. And of course, this is also selling to the consumer, but not necessarily that he will buy from the wholesaler, as they need the quantity in bulk, and they are not short of money, short of funds are, that's not a problem for them. They can have the warehouses, and of course they have the warehouses, so they can purchase the goods in bulk from manufacturer directly. Okay, so they eliminate the middleman, and that way they can provide the goods at reasonable prices, or you can say they can increase their margin. So next one is centralized purchasing. All the purchases in a departmental store are made centrally by a purchase department. Here we have a different departments. One purchase department take the requirement from all the remaining departments. This is jewelry department, this is utensils, this is fabric garment department. Okay, so we have the different ones. So purchase department take the requirement of their demand and purchases it at one place. Okay, so centrally purchasing. Next one is large variety of goods. There is no doubt it is a retail shop, and like other shops, you have the variety of the things available. Okay, so these were the features of the departmental store. Now students, you know that under the features we have some merits and demerits. Okay, so what are the advantages and limitations? Let's talk. First one is advantages. So it's telling that attract large number of customers. Departmental store, if somebody is providing the best quality at the reasonable prices and it is centrally located, no doubt the crowd will go. Okay, so most of the customers, they go to the departmental store, so it attracts large number of customers. Second one is convenience in buying. Students, when you go to the market, you find that one item which you want, that is available at this corner, and another one is at another corner, and the third one is at back of me, and I mean the different directions. You have to move a lot of time has been wasted, and that's not convenient to you. But here under one roof everything is available, so that's very convenient to the customers. Okay, and I've told you about the restroom and restaurant already. Third one is attractive services, which we have talked just before. It's providing so many services where it attracts the customers, like home delivery of the goods, grant of credit facility, provision for restrooms, telephone booths, restaurants, salon, etc. All these facilities are available. Okay. Next one is economy of large scale operations. As the departmental store are organized on the large scale, the benefit of the large scale operations, especially in respect of the purchase of goods, are available to them. See, these people, they are not manufacturing, they are purchasing and then selling, trading they are doing. But still they have benefits of the large scale operation. Large scale operation, when you are operating your business on the large scale, you get the benefit. Means if you had been an ordinary retailer, so you must have purchased a few items from the wholesaler, then you would have sold to the customers. But here it's not like that. As you are operating your business on the large scale, so you are buying it directly from the manufacturer and then selling. Okay, so the benefits of the large scale operation is provided to you. Okay, means you can extend your margin. Next one is promotion of sales. A departmental store can advertise on a large scale as they have large financial resources. The sales promotion and advertisements result in increase of their sales. Promotion of sale, as they don't have the financial problem and easily they can advertise their departmental store that there is everything is available at their shop, so that this attracts more and more people. So promotion of sales is possible, so this is also one of the advantage. Now, nothing goes without limitations. So what are the limitations? First one, lack of personal attention. As you know, students, the owner, if one owner is sitting and the customers are there, so he tries level best to convince the customers, okay? But owner, as I've told you, most probably the company runs that, shareholders are at one place and this is managed by the board of directors, and in the different departments, different people are there who are doing the services, and you have seen their operating pattern. You have seen the people, they just select the items themselves and they keep it in the basket and then they take. So personal attention is not given on the customers, okay, as we have in the other retail shops. So this is one of the drawback, okay. Next one is high operating cost. All right, it is providing so many things and it's very good, but its operating cost is very high. Operating cost means इसको manage करना, इसको चलाना, departmental store को run करना is very difficult and it's very expensive also. It is providing so many services. Okay, fine, for you it is services, but it has to pay a lot for this. The different places are there, the people have been appointed, okay, and certain other things they have to take care. So high operating cost is there, as they are providing the free home delivery, okay, and whatever the services they are providing, they are charging for that, and because of these things, as we have talked, that it is very, at reasonable rates and all, but due to all these services the rates also increases. So this is also one of the limitations. So high possibility of the losses. As a result of high operating cost and large scale operations, the chances of incurring losses in the departmental stores are high. They have to maintain huge inventories. Sometimes articles becomes obsolete and have to be sold at a price less than their cost. If everything is going on smoothly, there is no problem. But if any problem arises in that situation, suppose the product is out of fashion, okay, and your technology is obsolete, so in these situations your product will be sold at a very high discount. So this departmental store suffers a lot of losses. So whenever it has the losses, that is very high. Next and last one is inconvenient location. Well, departmental stores are centrally located. People living in far off areas don't like to travel a long distance to reach the store. Wherever it is situated, if it is situated centrally, fine, it is centrally, but the country, your city, if the people, the customers are situated at the end of the city or in the starting of the city, so that will be very inconvenient for them. This is convenient to the people who are living nearby this place, okay. So these were certain disadvantages, okay. So here we have talked about the departmental store. What is that? What are its features, merits and demerits? So in the same way, we will discuss our next topic, that is chain stores or multiple shops. According to its name, students, chain store, what are these one? That's totally different from the previous one. Well, in departmental store, and here we will do the comparative studies to make the point clear, okay. So in departmental store, we used to have all the items available under one roof, single ownership was there. But in chain store, we specially deal in one item or a few items, okay, line of the things. And here the ownership is same, and departmental store was situated at one place only, but these chain stores are these are situated at different places in the country. Chain store, in Hindi if we explain, कि आपकी shops की chain होती है, one is available at this place, another one you will find somewhere else, and the third one it will be somewhere else, and the things are very identical. Even if you look at the outlets, so these are also quite identical, and same kind of interior you will find in these the chain stores, and all the rule regulations, all the discount offers, the working pattern, everything will be same at all the chain stores. Okay, so chain stores or multiple shops are networks of retail shops which are owned by the single business enterprises. Its management is centralized. These shops are spread over different locations of the city or in different cities. All the retail shops deal in similar line of standardized and branded consumer products. They all have identical merchandising strategies which with identical products and display, like Bata, Reliance Fresh, Domino's and McDonald's are the examples of the multiple shop. If we talk about the Bata, right students, so these are the standardized item. If you know one model of the Bata shoe, so either you take from here or at any other place, you will find it is exactly same and the same price will be charged. Okay. Well, now we will talk about the features of this chain store, and this will be, better clarity will be there. The first one is location. That was centrally located. We are talking about the departmental store and at one place, but here this will be at different places. These shops are located in populated locations where sufficient number of customers can be approached. The object is to have shops near to the customers rather than attracting them to a central place. Here what we are doing, and it's small in size, so instead of attracting the customers at one place, we are trying to situate our shop at nearby the customers. Where we find more customers, we try to have our shop over there. Next one is centralized purchase. Here all the purchasings are done centralized, or I must say that they have the factory. If we talk about especially Bata, so they have their own manufacturing. They are manufacturing the shoes themselves, and centrally they have the things and they are supplying to all the their stores. Okay. So head office makes all the purchases for all these multiple shops. Thereafter, goods are dispatched to different shops as per their requirement. It saves the cost of operation of these shops. Third one is centralized control. Here the control is centralized because ownership is one, and I've told you that if discount policy is there and any other schemes are there, so that will be regulated from one place and that will be same for all the stores. Then you have the cash sale. All the sales at the multiple shops are made on cash basis, and cash is deposited daily into bank account on behalf of the head office, and a report is sent to the head office in this regard. Right students? So this way this works. No credit sales are there, only and only cash sales are there, and daily that has been deposited in the bank account of this company, and the report is given to head office. Next one is regular inspection. The head office normally appoints the inspectors who inspect the retail shops with respect to quality of customer services provided, adherence to policies of head office, and so on. Means the inspectors, they appoint so many inspectors. It's not only that one person is looking after all the stores. So different inspectors are there, and their area has been divided. So they just go to those area and they inspect the thing. Either they are following all the terms and conditions which are imposed by the, or which are regulated by the head office. Are they following that? What is their behavior with the customers? Okay. So all these things they are doing. Now prices. Goods are sold at all the stores at a centrally fixed prices. They are not free to give the discount, to reduce the prices, or to increase the prices. Prices are just fixed by the head office. Next one is window dressing. All the stores are decorated in the same settings and style. I've explained in the starting, students. That all the outlets, their display, their interior will be absolutely same wherever and whatever the store you visit. Well, these were the features, and out of the features we can have the advantages and limitations. So the first advantage is economies of scale. That's available here also, because they are manufacturing themselves, and if they are not manufacturing, they are trading still, because they have so many stores, hundreds of the stores are there. So for these stores, they need to buy in bulk quantity, so automatically economies of scale is applicable. Then elimination of the middleman. This point is also related to this one. We need not any wholesaler and dealer. Directly we are getting, either we are manufacturing or we are purchasing from the manufacturer. So we have deleted or eliminated the middleman, so we can increase our profit and can reduce the cost. Next one is low cost. That is what I have explained. If we have eliminated the middleman, so automatically its cost will be less. No bad debts, as we are selling all the goods on the cash basis, so there will not be any bad debts. Transfer of goods. Okay, so students, you might have listened when you go to the market and you buy some branded item like this. So if you ask about the shoe, Bata shoe, we have taken the example, and you ask about one particular model and he said that has finished here. So they may say that, okay, let me ask from my another outlet, maybe it is available there, I'll just provide you tomorrow, or just come after half an hour, I'll provide you. So it is that transfer of goods. Suppose your stock has been finished and you know the owner of all the outlets is same, so you can have it from another place, okay. And in the vice versa, means suppose there is no demand of these items at your outlet, so you can send these goods to another outlet, so these can be sold over there, okay. So the goods not in demand in a particular locality may be transferred to another branches where it is in demand. So obsolete stock need not to be sold at price less than the cost. So we don't have to offer the discount because we can sold it at another place where the demand is there. Next one is diffusion of risk. The loss incurred by one retail shop can be set off from the another one. So diffusion of risk. As I have told you that there is no demand of the items at my outlet, at my place, so, and there is a demand at another place, so I have just transferred that. So loss of one place can be set off from the another one. And last one is flexibility. Well, this is very flexible. Suppose your business, as I've told you, there is no demand at my outlet, so it's not at very large scale. I can wind up my business here and I can start at the place where there is a demand. So more flexibility is there, but this is not available in departmental store. Departmental store is quite big and it's at very large level, and a huge investment you have done. So it is not possible in departmental store. So these were the advantages. Now limitations: limited range of goods, students. Bata, as the name is there. They are keeping limited variety, limited things are there. You don't have the benefits of other kind of retail shops. If you go to some another shop, you have the Bata shoe, and you have what are the another names? That is Adidas and Reebok and all that. So many other brands are there. So you can have the benefit of this. You are not confined to one brand only, you can have another one. But this is the drawback of these outlets, that you will find the limited range of the goods. Next one is lack of initiative. The employees of chain store have no freedom to take decisions. They have to act strictly in conformity with orders and instructions received from the head office. See, they have to follow all the orders and restrictions which has been imposed on them. If they find that if I deal in this situation this way, so that is quite good, but they are not free to deal the situations according to their own. Means they don't have to use their mind. They have to follow the instructions blindly. Okay, so lack of initiative. If something good is going to happen because of their talent, they can't use the talent. Next drawback is lack of personal touch and interest. The chain store are managed by the branch managers who are paid employees and not owners. They don't take personal interest in each and every customer. That's true, students, where owner is not sitting and employees are working. So more or less some problem comes and they can't satisfy the customer the way as owner can. Okay, so lack of personal touch is always there. Next one is large capital investment and heavy overheads. Well, we can't say that departmental stores are investing a lot and this chain store is not investing. In fact, these chain stores are also investing a lot, because it is not only one shop. There are hundreds of the stores are there, and even they have to appoint the different managers for all the different departments. Then employees will be there and interior will be there. The rent, or either you are paying rent or you have purchased it, electricity bill, everything. So a lot of overheads are there. Overhead means expenses. Okay, last one is chances of fraud. as there are many branches, there is always a possibility of fraud because strict supervision and control is not possible. Although you have appointed inspectors and all, but still we have the loopholes in these kind of things and the chances of frauds are available. Right students, so here we have discussed the features, merits and limitations of the chain store. Well, you are aware about the departmental store and chain stores now. So let's take 2 minutes to discuss the differences between these two. The first one is location. We know that departmental stores are located at the central place where the large number of people they are attracting, but the chain store are located near residential area, not at the central place. Now the range of products and objects. So departmental stores aim at satisfying all the needs of the customers from pin to plain, but the chain stores they are providing only a limited range of the products. Then services offered. Well, departmental stores are providing number of services to their customers to attract them, but chain stores are not providing these kind of services and they are just confined to the guarantee and repair and after sale services, that's all. Now, class of customers, what kind of customers visit? The departmental stores cater to the need of relatively high income group of customers because the things are costlier as they are providing services. In between I have explained students that they are providing, the restaurant services, restroom is there, salon is there. So all these kind of things, they cover from the customers. They are not paying anything from their own pocket. Once they pay, but they cover the overhead, the expenses which they have done, they spread it over the cost of their product and ultimately they are covering from the customers. So the high income group, the people who have the high income, okay, they visit to these kind of departmental stores, okay. And here the chain stores, the multiple shops on the other hand cater to different types of customers including those who belongs to the lower income group, okay. So all kind of customers, generally the people who don't have very high income, they visit to this place. Then credit facilities. A departmental store, they offer the credit facility, they provide the credit, but chain store, they sell their goods on the cash basis only. Well, then pricing. The departmental stores don't have uniform pricing policy for all the departments. Rather, they have to occasionally offer discounts of certain products and varieties to clear their stock. Okay. Different stocks have the different pricing policy. Okay. This is your garment shop, this is utensils, this is your stationery, this is your electronic. So everyone has a different pricing system, of course, and they have the different schemes. Here the discount is available, there no discount is there. But the multiple shops or chain stores sell goods at fixed prices and maintain uniform pricing policies for all the shops. At all the shops, because these are dealing with the same item, identical items are there, the same policies goes for all them. Volume of investment. It requires huge investment. We are talking about departmental. As large stocks of variety of products are maintained and a number of services are provided to the customers, huge investment of capital is required, and here may require relatively small capital investment as they don't provide other services to the customer. Very true students, of course, they also invest a lot, huge investment they also require, but here we are doing the comparison. So comparatively to the departmental store, they need less investment. Next one is your centralization of activities. There is centralized selling, but purchases may be made either centrally or by the departmental manager. See, sale is centrally, under one roof you get everything. So centrally sale is the purchases may be centrally or may be decentralized, okay. But regarding the chain stores, multiple shops are based on the principle of decentralized selling and centralized purchasing or manufacturing. See, in the country, in the whole, in India, Bata may have so many outlets, I don't know their number, but suppose 1000 outlets are there. So at all these 1000 points sale is there. So this is decentralized sale, okay. But its purchase, either purchase or manufacturing is centralized. Next one is risk. There is a greater risk of success of a departmental store depends upon its continued prosperity. Means continuity, it's giving profit in the continuous process. Continually it is running better and it is in the advantageous position, giving profit so there is a chances of the success. But departmental store, fine, okay, the risk is more. Wherever problem comes or a few departments are not giving profit, maybe a few departments are running well, a few departments are not giving good profit, so problem comes in this case, and it's difficult for them to wind up this, okay. But in case of chain store, the risk is less. Risk can be diverted, as I have explained 2-3 times. There is no demand at my outlet, so I can send my whole stock to another one, or later on I can wind up my business from here and I can start at a place where customers are available. Alright, so less risk is there. Now flexibility. As the departmental store deals in a wide variety of products, they have certain flexibility in respect of the line of goods marketed. Line of goods, the flexibility will be less, but there is not much scope for flexibility in the chain stores which deal only limited line of the products. Here you have to understand, students, what it is telling. In fact, there we have studied that the chain stores are more flexible in this, but here they have taken different example. Try to understand. See, the departmental stores, they are dealing in a wide variety of products. Suppose one product is not giving you revenue over there, it is not in the profit. Suppose your jewelry shop is there which is not giving you profit, so you have a flexibility. You can shut down that particular store from there, you can start anything else. You have 50 outlets under one roof, and out of these 50, 10 are not giving you revenue, so these 10 can be removed and another 10 can be there. You can keep certain other items. So this flexibility we are talking. But in chain store, although earlier we have talked these are flexible, in those cases that is flexible, but here it is talking about the item. Suppose the item which you are keeping, that is not liked by the people. What will you do in that case? So there it is not providing you the flexibility, okay. So here we have completed all the differences between departmental stores and chain store. Well students, that's very easy, okay. So take care and watch the video properly, go through the chapter, learn it, and then prepare your notes. Thank you.